Okay, when a definition is well done, otherwise, if you define well, then we clearly can identify the particular specific members that constitute the extension of that word. These are on your test, so it is just words that we are throwing about again. You can clearly identify all the particular denotations covered by that definition. Then we say that it is well defined. You've done the definition well. That simply means, like we use the even number example. If you see an even number is any number that divides 2 equally without a remainder, then it tells you that I can clearly identify every particular denotation of this definition. I can clearly identify without any ambiguity, and I can list it from now here to whatever. You have clarity. There's no ambiguity around it. Okay. Unlike if I define a bachelor as an unmarried adult, I define the word a bachelor. Then before I start counting young men, I would enter into counting, what's the thing? Buttons, and then it will get into flowers, and it will keep going because the meaning of bachelor or the concept bachelor doesn't lend itself to well-defined. Bachelor is open textured. Development is open textured. Okay, so to simply answer your question, if a definition is a real one, it will have the nature of being what well-defined. That will capture what you want. All right, let me take is it Wesleyan and Angela? That's what I see there. So Wesleyan, after you, I'll take Godfrey. You have to be very concise so I can help you understand, and then we touch up a little bit more. Okay, Wesleyan.
If substantive, Doctor, our question is, if substantive, hello, our question is,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, if substantive arguments cannot be resolved using a stipulative definition, are there any other methods that can be used to resolve it? And if there are other methods, like passing
it's an essay question you are giving me. Auntie, listen, you should do the reading and studying yourself. I'm not supposed to give you answers to exam questions, but I'll help you understand if you have a specific question. So what I gather from your question is, how can we attempt to resolve a substantive disagreement? Since the textbook says, or our understanding of that kind of disagreement suggests that it may not be resolved. You may never resolve it. That is why we have different versions of Christianity, for example. We have those who think it's a Saturday worship. There are those who think it's a Sunday worship. There are those who think we have to wear Jidiko or Friday. You know, there are those who will not eat certain kind of food. Women must cover their hair. Women cannot preach. And they are all looking at a common reference point, Bible. They are all reading the same scripture. But what they see is not what the other person sees. Just like we will all be looking at the picture of the sister on the phone, but the brother whose lady this sister is says she's beautiful, and the other person what she's not seeing beautiful, and you can't force them. That is the thing about disagreements that border on what? Values, opinions, not necessarily fact or language. Even the fact, if it is what's the word? Merely factual, then we can just add that information and the dispute will be resolved. But where the disagreement is about what the person makes of the fact, you see that he's observing something, but he's interpreting it differently. He has an opinion about it. It is his or her subjective point of view. The disagreement may never be resolved, friends. You may never change it. Because that is what the person thinks should constitute being Christian. The textbook gives you that example. Speaking in tongues for one person is what should, it's a prescription. It's not a description where it is purely a matter of fact that we can agree on. But when I say he's not a real Christian, that example in your textbook, he's not a real Christian because she does not speak in tongues. Then the other person says, no, she's a real Christian because she was baptized in our church. The people are not disagreeing about fact. If it were factual or the language, okay, the language Christian, then they could stipulate and there will be an agreement. They are disagreeing about what each person thinks should define Christianness or Christian being Christian. Okay, so one person thinks no, it's not what everybody thinks. It should rather be this. Should prescription, value judgment. The other person says no, it should rather be that. So such a disagreement may never be resolved. You will only try to argue. Argue here meaning what? Present evidence in the hope that the other person will be convinced to adapt your point of view, but you may never get the person to join you. The person may separate and create a new sect. That is the response, Antiagua. Okay, let me take. I've got Visa. I hope that helps. Yeah. Okay. Visa.
Hello, madam.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello. Good morning. Please, I wanted to what's the name? Ask for you to at least help me understand the question 2 of assignment 1, because I'm actually
Please,
having
if it is an assignment you have been given, answer it the way you understand
yeah,
it.
I understand. But I hear that's the case whereby I recently joined the
answer
class.
it the way you understand it, and let's move on. Okay. You have to understand that it's part of the assignment. I cannot come and give you answers to the question I've asked you. You see that? Read the question
please.
And then answer. Just do it, okay? If you were at the exam, I mean, if we kept you at the lecture hall or the exam hall, and then we wrote the question on the board, we'll give you question papers. Then we said start work. You finish in 1 hour. By now, I would have finished marking. You see? People are at home and they are discussing it, and you still want the lecturer to tell you what the questions demand is and how you should answer it. Then how did it become a question, my dear friend? Okay, so read it. You read it and then answer it the way you understand. We will check because it's critical thinking. There aren't always a yes or no, response. Okay, the questions are many. I have set questions for several course sites and groups, both main, city, where some of them I don't even remember. But they are all on the topics you have treated. So just read the question and then answer it as you do. Don't try to conform with what everybody is doing because they may all be wrong. Appeal to the masses. Just read it as you, Agobisa, and then when you read the question, you say, okay, this is what we have discussed so far. And then the lecturer has asked me this. I understand the lecturer to be saying this. She has given, perhaps I gave a restriction. Don't go below a certain number of words and don't go above it. Okay, so what if all these are the requirements, then it means that maybe the expectation I write it, I should do this or that or that. Your ability to do that is what we are trained. I give you a document at ministries to interrogate it and then make a proposal on what the government should do. And you say, Mr. President, so what do you think the proposal should be? But that is what you are supposed to go and do, my dear friend. Okay, so think around it. It's just 10 marks. You won't die. Okay.
No,
you look like
just say that, madam.
Yes, you do very fine. 10 marks. My money higher 100%. Go through it and respond. You see how I'll come and read the responses, and they will all be impressed by how people talk to it. Okay, you do very fine. Just engage it like a minister for finance. Why? I am a farmer document. Go through. Don't ask them. So right now, what should Ghana do? We are in trouble. Hey, my brother, so save the nation. Why? Okay, thank you very much. Let's take Amma. Thank you very much. Amma, ask your question.
Hello. Good morning. Unfortunately, if I ask my question, it cannot be answered because it is part of the assignment. So I'm just going to.
You can't ask questions of the assignment, okay? Not that you can't ask questions of. Maybe let me clarify. You cannot ask for an interpretation of a critical thinking assignment, which is asking you to demonstrate your critical ability. You see that? If I try to do that, then I shouldn't have asked you any questions. And I've been doing a lot of talking, and I'll continue doing a lot of talking. All the lectures will continue talking till the 10th week. So this one is for you to do the talking, but the talking should be written down. That's all. So you do fine. Just read what is put there and then write your response. Of course, guided by whatever prescriptions and restrictions that were placed on the assignment. And then we'll mark that 10 over 10. The discussion question, for example, I asked a discussion. I know that Dr. Katie has also asked it. And then it will be same for all the others also. It's simply for you to respond. to what has been put there. So maybe how to go about it on Sakai. I mean, that is a technicality. You can't add that to the lecturer's work. But I can tell you, I even put it there. I'm going to start conversation and then type in your answer into the text box and save it. When you save the discussion question, that one, I think you don't receive a notice, an email prompt. I don't think it does. I don't know how Sakai folks have set it up now. It's a technical thing. But I think for assignment 2, there's an inbuilt notice that sends you a prompt that you have submitted. So if you have submitted a discussion, then you are able to read what other folks put there. And the rationale is for you to read it and answer, oh, so my friend also thought about it this way, and it is part of the training. The course is training you, friends. It's a discipline. It's not a chew, poor pass and forget. The interrogative in a question mark, imperative. No. The course is called critical thinking and practical reason, your ability to reason practically about matters. Not just your ability to recall which one has a question mark and which one told you to stand up and which one. No. Okay, so at least for the first 2 assessments that we are going to engage you on, which you have seen already, for 20 marks, we have enough time to grade the thousands of you. We will commit our energies to that. Right, Montre, that one to trouble. Dr. Kwesi's group said critically examine. The discussion question there says critically examine. People are worried. So you don't want to reason critical. What do you want to do? Interrogative. Then you look inside the book and look for the one that has a question mark. Right? No. Okay. So I think I have covered a lot of the questions. Go to start conversation. You write the answer into there. The answer should not be less than those that I put there. Not everyone. Some of the groups, depending on which one. So I'd say not between 400 and 500 words. That is, I think, about a page or half a page. It means write. Okay, take your time and write. That's why I have a week to do that. You should be able to write. And there's no hard and fast rule about what you should write and what you shouldn't write. Just look at the question. Right. Take some. Go ahead, please. Let's hurry up with that 13 hands up. Quick. If you are there, if not, Coleman, you can ask your question.
Hello.
Is it Coleman or Sydney? Okay, Sydney, go ahead.
Yeah. Madam, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sydney.
Yeah.
Go ahead. After you will take Okwam and then Coleman. So Sydney, go ahead.
We learned in lecture 2 about the argumentative discourse in critical thinking, where that an argument has a premise and a conclusion. But in all the examples that were given, the conclusion in the arguments were all declarative tenses. So I wanted to ask, can the conclusion of an argument be an imperative tense, requesting something from someone? For example, please do not pass under that tree is the conclusion, and under the premise that because there is a snake.
Please speak just a little bit more up there so I can hear you. If you could just shout a little, it will be fine for me, okay? Whilst you round up. Yeah.
Okay. So I said that
in
lecture 2, we learned about the argumentative discourse of critical thinking, where we saw that all arguments have a premise supporting a conclusion.
All arguments have premises, leading to a
premises leading to a conclusion. But in all the examples given, the conclusions were declarative tenses. So I wanted to ask, can a conclusion...
If it's an argument, you work with statements. You see that? If you have an argument, then they must be statements. If they are not statements, it cannot constitute an argument. I don't know if that helps. Like I can't say, who closed the door? Stand up. One day God will punish somebody, full stop. That cannot be an argument. Argument, the raw materials that you use to create arguments are statements, declaratives. So each of them, the premises and the conclusion must be declarative. That is, they must be statement. The statement may be factual, value judgment, or definition, but they must be statement before you can say you have argument.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. Let me take Coleman now. Go ahead, Coleman. Sydney, please put your hand down so I can see the few I have left.
Okay, so
Coleman first, then I can take Okwam. Go, Mami. Go ahead, Mami.
Madam,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
throw more light on. Madam, please, I wanted you to throw more light on the substantive and verbal disagreement.
Substantive disagreement. If we are disagreeing on substance, it means we are contending over the interpretation that we are giving to whatever is going on. So if we are disagreeing about something, but the disagreement is not about what it means. It is about my opinion of what is there, what we are speaking about. My opinion. You take your textbooks. Let us do some examples. There. Take your textbooks wherever you are and open to page. So we get some more examples. I think it will help you. We are doing unit 3, types of discourse. And before we get there, we should see substantive and where is it? Where you have several examples. I want you to read. So, madam, have yours by you. I ask you to read. I read it quickly, okay? So my page. Contrasting types of discourse. The first page over there is verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. It is your task to read that content there. I am not going to write an exam, you see that? But I understand, so I'm helping you understand. You will have to have raw material that my explanation will build on. If you haven't read anything, you won't understand. That is why the textbooks are ready, the content is already delivered. Then you will make an effort at engaging it. So let me help you again to clarify substance. A disagreement that is about substance, or if you like, values, opinions, point of views. Now, look at example. Example 1. That is your page 52, the new textbook, the one you picked up. It says that woman is not a real Christian because she does not speak in tongues. Then the other person says, no, she's really a Christian since she was baptized and confirmed in the United Methodist Church. So one says she's not a real Christian. It means for everyday usage.
Madam, please, page.
Oh, I said 52, 52. I'm marking a day and some page number. Page 52, 52. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 52. Okay. Then the example there is example 1, somewhere in the middle there. Can you see that? That woman is not a real Christian because she does not speak in tongues. These are two people speaking. Then the other person says, no, she really is a Christian since she was baptized and confirmed in the United Methodist Church. So the two folks are contending over what a real Christian is, who really is a Christian. Not what we have assumed to be the definition of Christian, not how we use the term Christian every day. The two of them are disagreeing. So one person is telling you that, oh, she's a Christian because kadabaha shatadaba, no they call. So that is what she thinks should constitute being what? Christian. It's a point of view. Then the other person says, no, I don't think so. I think she really is a Christian. Reality, ideal definition, real. I think she really is a Christian because she was baptized at the so and so church. Now, the disagreement between the two is not a straightforward, oh, look at her baptismal certificate. I have got her baptismal certificate. Therefore, I'm coming to resolve the dispute. Bring all the certificates that your church gives, including the types and how many times she has come to church. This other sister who says the person is not speaking in tongues will tell you that, well, I've seen all these. I even know that she was in your church this morning. I know that she was baptized. I came for her baptism party. I was there. But I am telling you that all that done, still, I don't think she really is a Christian because I'm looking for the one who speaks in tongues. This disagreement is not about fact, or language. It is about what? Values, opinions, point of view, background. So it is a substantive one. We may never be able to resolve it. Onya. Okay. But look at example 2. That man is playing a wooden flute. I'm now on your page 53. Take your textbook and look at it. We can write all these examples and the narration and the elaboration on it, commentary on it in one slide. That is why you should get the textbook. Copy, if there's a photocopy, no, photocopy there, it's illegal. Ask your friend for his, or come and purchase some. You can come, we still have a few left here, or you can go to the School of Art Secretariat where the plenty are, or ask your friend that has some. If he uses it in the morning, they use it in the afternoon. But however you go around it, get it. School 4 will not understand. iPhone 13 and half, they will buy 7 of them and display. Book 50 CDs. You will learn for life. They won't buy. Don't buy. Ask your friends own and look at it too. They won't look. Okay, the two of you should sit together and share. They won't share. Yet they want to understand substantive. It is the examples and the activities and the elaborations that aid your learning. When we come, we try to add to it. When you go for tutorial, I heard Mrs. Auntie Lucy, your TA, telling you that you can find the tutorial links at the people don't even know where the link is. You send an announcement, they won't read. Yet they want to get an A, not in critical thinking and practical reasoning. Okay, so now to my sister who has the question. My dear sister, so look at the example 2 on page 53. That man is playing a wooden flute and the other musician is playing a pentama. Okay, that's the first person's claim. Then the second person says, no, I am sitting closer. Listen, I am sitting closer. And I can see that one of them is playing a clarinet and the other is playing on a phantom from drum. So I said he's playing A and B instrument. Then the other person says, no, me, I'm sitting closer. In other words, I can see them better. Maybe you are from afar. You're sitting at a distance, so you don't see clearly. So I'm sitting closer. It's not A and B they are playing C and D. How do we resolve that? You can have your own meaning of phantom from. You can't say as for you, when you see dondo, you call it phantom from. Then go and live in the jungle. We said that when we're discussing factuals versus value. You see, go in the jungle, you can call Mr. Lion a cat, or you can call snake a pen. When you see snake, say hello pen. Snake doesn't have your time to argue with you. You can live alone there and give things the names you want. But if you want to live in society, things have their names. Okay? So if I say I'm sitting closer, they are playing phantom from and whatever and clarinet. It means if we want to resolve it, it's a simple matter. We should come closer or call the third person sitting there and say, please, I don't ask my friend, what are they playing? And we say, oh, no, it's clarinet. Can't you hear it? And it will resolve the matter. It is not a substantive dispute. It's a matter of extra information. Just like if someone said it is raining at Tema, and I say it's not raining at Tema. You say it's raining. I say it's not. How do we resolve it? Should we take a Ukrainian bomb and Russian bomb and throw at each other? No. We don't even need to go there. We just have to call. And Jadwa, I'm telling this thing, please, is it raining at Tema? You say, oh, he's lying. And we will say, case die. So it is not really about substance. The disagreement is verbal. That is why with a verbal dispute, you can stipulate meanings to resolve it. Stipulative definition means we agree on it. Remember the class rep that I told, when I come and I say I want water, I'm actually referring to gin. Ogugru, lecture moi. So when I can say I'm thirsty, then all of you think I'm drinking water when the class rep brought me that bottle. But inside it, my esram. I'm so drunk. When you ask me connotation, I say, yeah, it's a new animal in town. How will you know? You won't know because I used a stipulative definition, what I agreed on with the class rep. So I'm saying that if we can agree on a meaning, then we can resolve a verbal dispute. But when it comes to substantive disagreement, it is difficult to agree because the people are sharing different viewpoints, different prescription of what they think should constitute that word. Not what it is, but what they each think should be the definition. Do you see that? So now we can go to the third one and the fourth. Look at the fourth one, another controversial one. African Americans, still on page 53, Auntie. This one will benefit a lot of you. And I think the assignment, the assignment that has made me so popular. Me and my colleagues, we are popular over there. People want to copy, they are copying, can copy. Hey, you copy, now they are coming back for better and further and better particulars. It's not difficult to at all. It just makes a demand of you to think and practically respond. I think yours is the two families contending over land, the land dispute one. I think that is good for child check. I said two families are, I'm just repeating what is there, so nothing plus or minus, okay? Two families are contending over the sharing of a land that is supposedly for an ancestor. One family says, we are not giving you a portion of the land, Tom, because you are not the woman's daughter. Then the other person says, I am family. In other words, you are not a family member. Then the other person, I'm a family. I'm family because the woman adopted me. So they are disagreeing on what? Now you are going to make me answer my question. Now I say, hey, what are they disagreeing on? Which type of disagreement is this? How will you resolve it? Mumpe, interrogative, question mark, imperative. But that one, class one, children can do that. I think we are joking in the university. Okay, we want you to think so that when you go home and to look at what is happening, when you go home and you hear that there is a conflict at Boko in Ghana, you can resolve it. Or you can make an attempt at it. That is what we want. You can call Eja Putin and his friend Zelensky and sit them down and say, my friend, we understand that where we are standing right now, human beings are dying. So let's talk. We need people to solve problems. You want interrogative and imperative and factual and value judgment. Those are the raw materials that we are using to construct and create and think. And how can you and evaluate? Okay, my dear friends, so this is what will be useful to you. Those that had the connotation and denotation question. I said, and then another group that had the question on which type of definition will you use? Why will you use a specific definition for a specific context? In other words, why will you use a specific definition at a specific place? You don't want that one. Tell me why you will do that. Why will you use a different kind of definition at a different place for a particular reason? Look at the discussions we've had. Why? Why won't you go to your class one child when she comes and say, Mommy, please, Auntie said I should ask you to tell me what sky is. What is the sky? How are you going to define sky to that child? Will you go and look for lexical definition, take the dictionary and define sky is the firmament that was created? Is that what you are going to tell that child?
If I want to explain, my head will be educating me.
Hey, Brian, you talk again. I will whip you in the spirit. Please don't talk. You are distracting your friend. You will use what the child can understand. My examples, I touched on COVID-19 protocols. Some of the people, even when you say COVID-19, those times when it came, that thing alone is scary. You can coin a meaning so it will be catchy. You want to propagate a brand. Your brand, we can't even capture it and carry it along. How can you be a good advertiser? Think, friends, and tell me why for a specific contest. Contest here meaning with the X, not S. I'm not talking about contesting someone, fighting someone. No. Contest a specific place. Why you use a different kind of definition? Why is it that if you want to teach someone how to deliver a baby, you are a midwife, you are teaching other midwives, young ladies who want to start, or guys who want to deliver a baby, will you sit in your office and say, yeah, if you want to do, you have to make sure that you cut the womb 6 inches, and you are just sitting in your office talking? How will the people be able to do it well? Will you go and give your wife that you struggled to get one child, and then it's time for her to do it? Will you go and give it to someone who did Don't let me give you answer to my question. Huh? You will look for someone who has practical. But how then do you impart knowledge in a way that will be meaningful for such a person who is learning that? Why do we complain about our scientific labs? So think about that around the definition. You want me to ask you, lexical, ostensive, operational. When you are sitting at home to do it, you won't think a little, my dear friends. Sure, I'm dear mama. And so this one, tell all the other group members what I just said. Okay, that the coordinator said they should think is critical thinking and practical reasoning. We don't want a chorus answer, uniform answer. There everybody is knowing. When we get to the mid-sem and the final, we can do that in the name of trying to have a fair balance, one, then that we can be able to also assess you on time, two, but also that one will be a little more regulated. You come and sit here at least, and okay, unlike the one at home, you don't have all the time. To this one, you have quite enough time, so you're able to think, research a little, read around, and discuss with a friend, and write. Okay, so African Americans, Auntie, I'm on your page 53 now, and elaborating on what I said earlier. This is part of what we did last week. That in today's content, this is half of it. That's why I'm stressing it a little bit more. African Americans are really American. Then the other person says, no, African Americans are really African. Now think about that. You think this is a language matter? Then you are coming to stipulate meaning. One says, no. Afro-Americans, they are really American. It means they are root. If you ask them, the person is insisting that if you see a black American, what we call black American, African American, the person is really American. In other words, maybe for our everyday language, we think of them as Africans. So they back to my root. But this person is immediate. I think they are really, in reality, showed it is a prescription. They are really American. Then the other person says, no, I think African Americans are really African. We may never resolve this too. I hope these few examples help you. The commentary is there for each one of them. The Perchin one, page 54, is there. Then if you go to 55, you will see several of them with commentary. And then we leave it for you as a thinker to flex your muscles around it and then interpret what is going on there. All right. Thank you very much. The question was very useful to the whole class. I spoke and learned about it. Let's take Daisy. After that, I'll take Mariama. Adam, your hand is still up. Don't tell me discrimination. I've called you 3 times. Daisy, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, let's pause for a while, and then we'll discuss a little the content. The content is a straightforward one. Today's one are just the errors associated with it. You've seen equivocation. You saw a little bit of fallacy even at the introductory session. You've seen vagueness when we looked at the weakness. Did we look at the weaknesses associated with definitions? Too narrow, too broad, secular, vague. One person on mute and respond for this group.
Yes,
I think
yes, madam.
Yes, we did. Very good. So we saw vagueness then. Sorry. Have we done it in this group?
No, please.
Oh, we haven't looked at the
Yes.
Whether definitions are narrow, circular, broad.
We have.
Yes.
We have done it.
But I did that. You said it.
But we didn't do ambiguity.
You have not answered the question I asked you. I said narrow, circular, broad. I didn't talk about ambiguity. Okay. Okay, so we have looked at, you saw vagueness. There's the word vagueness that I want to tell you that we have seen equivocation already. We have seen we touched on fallacies. Fallacies we will do in unit 10, but we touched on that earlier. Just for you to see that the questions that you see on your assignment, you've done it. You should be able to interpret a language error. Okay, so that is what you have been asked there. And there shouldn't be much to worry about now. The rest we are doing now is building on it to round the unit 3 nicely. Because I did the unit 3 and the units 1, 2, and 5 together. So by the time we finish with today, in the few minutes we have left, you'll see that we would have covered everything in your unit 1, everything in your unit 2, everything in your unit 3. Then unit 4, we already know it is not coming. Everything in the unit 5. The unit 5 is substantively a repetition of units 1 and 2. You will see factual statements and value judgment being emphasized again in unit 5. You will see implicit and explicit meanings of words being touched on again in unit 5. So those are repetitions of what? Some content in unit 1 and 2 for emphasis. Then the new thing there will be your 5 senses of the word law, or 6 senses of them, depending on how you split them in unit 5. Those ones will also throw a little bit more light on what? Detecting equivocation or ambiguity in the use of the word law. So what will be different there? You understand me? That's how you learn. You learn in a connected way. So we will go through the slides quickly. And then as I do that, if you have questions, then you ask. Because I see hands, when I call them, they are not talking. Someone's question really pressing. If you have a really pressing question that you feel should be addressed, I call Josh. Is it Josem? Josem is not responding. Larissa. Okay, son. What's this?
Madam, I have a question. You haven't called me.
Is it Norbert?
Madam, please, I have a question.
Is it Norbert speaking?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Norbert. Ask your question.
Yeah. Please, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sir.
Okay. Please, Doc, based on the substantive and the verbal dispute that you gave us.
If you could just speak up a little bit, it will be very helpful to you. Speak up just a little bit more.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Raise your voice just a little bit more. I'm not using my laptop, so this is quite faint.
Okay. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So based on the definitions, the difference that you gave on verbal dispute and substantive dispute or disagreement, I was having a question, and this question is based on an example that is.
So ask the question, okay?
And
if you ask the question, it will be really helpful. So ask it.
Okay. And the example that I was having is, let's say someone is saying that a divorced person is someone who cheated on his or a partner. And the other is saying that no, a divorced person is someone who was unfaithful to his or a partner. Please, can I say that this kind of
what kind of dispute do you think that would be? Or disagreement do you think that would be?
I think it's a verbal dispute.
Why? Why do you say that? How will we resolve it, sir?
We can resolve it by using a stipulative definition.
By what?
And I would say that need a resolver, a stipulative definition.
Oh, so I can't hear you. Some of the things that you said, I can't hear it. You said, how would you resolve it, sir? Yes, sir.
I am saying that I am going to solve this dispute by using a stipulative definition.
You resolve it by doing what?
Because I said it's verbal.
I'm trying to let you answer your own question. Just in case it's a question somewhere that you are trying to interrogate. Maybe someone has asked you that and you want clarity on it. Maybe a lecturer has asked you. I have no qualms answering him, but it has to come from you. So that then if it is a question you're going to answer somewhere or you have been asked to answer, then we are at a good page. You don't come and ask the other lecturer and get the answer and go and use to answer the other lecturer. But then you also have a concern. It might be that you are not answering the lecture. So I want to get what you will do. So I use that to show you why it can be this or it can be this. You understand? So that one person says a divorcee is a person who cheated on the husband. That's what I heard you say, or the wife. Then you say no. The other person says no. A divorcee is someone who did what?
Who is unfaithful? Who was unfaithful?
Who was on Facebook?
Hello? Unfaithful.
Can everybody hear your friend? I just want to be sure if I'm the only one who cannot hear him.
Unfaithful.
Someone who was unfaithful.
Unfaithful. Okay, thank you. So one person says cheated on the wife. The other person said what? Unfaithful.
Unfaithful.
This one is a very.
Your question is this verbal or substantive? Then you suggest it's verbal. Then I say why?
And I'm saying that this question can be resolved, and it can be resolved by using a stipulative definition.
Why can it be resolved? Otherwise, anybody can also say the same thing, even if the dispute isn't like this one. So you have to show why. You say, oh, wait there, we can resolve it. We can easily stipulate why. Okay, so because of being unfaithful, if you ask me, when we say someone is unfaithful, it's another way of saying cheating on your wife. So it is not anything different. They're just saying the same thing differently. That is what I would say. If it is a question you've been asked somewhere, I'll tell a lecturer that you didn't mark your work because you came for an answer somewhere. All right, thank you very much. That helps. Right, so we'll think of that as a verbal dispute because the two folks are just saying the same thing but differently. So they are not disagreeing about opinions. They are disagreeing about the use of language. One says because he is unfaithful. The other person says because a divorcee is a person who has cheated. Cheating and being unfaithful seems to be speaking the same thing in that context. So they are not really disagreeing on substance. They are disagreeing on language, the inconsistency in the use of language. So we can resolve it by telling the two of them that, oh, but being unfaithful and cheating are the same, you are referencing the same thing. You just use different language to say the same thing. And the two say, case died. We don't need to stretch it beyond that. So our friend's example helps most of you to see an example of verbal. Thank you, sir. Oh, dear.
Okay,
Keep it
thank you
muted.
very much.
Everybody mute, please. Let's see something. All right, so on the screen now, quickly, we will go through what you should know as an addition, as a top up to your unit 3. And then we will sum it up with the unit 5. You will see that in this discussion, you should know ambiguity. You already know vagueness, so I'll touch on it a little bit more. You already know equivocation. Then we will illustrate ambiguity. I'm hoping that you would have read. Then the 6 senses of the word law, which you already met when I was engaging you on equivocation. I showed you that when I say the word law, or when we say someone is breaking the word law, the law, the person may be breaking a moral law. I even touched on when you come on campus, maybe when we're red, vandals will do you koko because you are breaking a law on campus. But that law will not, when you break that law, we will not arrest you because it's not a criminal law. It's not even a civil law that you've broken. You see that, but it is still a law of a kind. Then I talked about the divine law. If you don't pay your tithe, someone will say you have broken the law of tithing. That is if you're a tither. Okay, some lady can wear swimwear to the lecture hall without any shame. When she enters there, it is the spiritual people who will do, Father, have mercy on this sister. That's what we'll do. So when you are there, you will feel it. Sometimes our eyebrows can make you change your dressing. Sometimes we are even jealous. It's not that we are talking about, we don't have your fine legs. So really, sometimes that's the issue. But we can use our eyebrows and the way we are chuckling at you and the way the guys are all over. Sometimes when you enter, the people will be whistling at you. All those things are supposed to tell you that there's a certain kind of law, the norm, the custom. So you will see the ban on noise making and what have you. It is a kind of law. I talked about customary law. There are certain customs. If you didn't marry the person and you got pregnant with her, and she goes to deliver and die, you will marry the corpse. come and do all the rituals that we do for a bride, for safe passage, so to speak. So you stay in the room with the corpse, sometimes days, and so on and so forth. These are all different kinds of laws. So when you hear the word law, and we say that so and so person is breaking the law, like we say LGBT, whatever, is breaking a certain law. Which of the senses of law are you referencing? Because how we enforce each one of them is different. So I touched on that also. And it would have been if folks will read, and I hope most of you are reading. So when you get to that topic, the only distinctive law there is natural laws. The ones we describe as what? Empirical laws. They describe, they don't prescribe. It is only that natural laws there that are supposedly what? Empirical in nature. They describe what the state of affairs is. They are like factual statements, just that they are more generalized. So when you observe how Nancy got pregnant, delivered in 9 months, Adjoa got pregnant, delivered in 9 months, Mansa also got pregnant, delivered in 9 months, then the observation, remember factual observation, tells you that whenever in the past a sister got pregnant, she delivered in 9 months. You see that? Therefore, if Ajovi, who is my younger sister also, has gotten pregnant right now, then I expect, take note, it's an expectation, like the way you predict and hope that Barca will win the match. Because Ansu is playing, Ansu Fati. Is he still there? It's a prediction, my friends. When you bet, if you were certain about the betting, you will not be watching, and then when the ball is going to over the bar, your heart is beating. Yeah, my money, my money. So scientific generalizations, referring to which ones? The empirical ones, the ones you observe, and then based on that, you build a theory, a generalization about it. Those ones can fail. You have to consider them as what? Predictions. That's what your textbook tells you. It's page 1 of Unit 6. When you of the laws, where the laws are. I think did I say Unit 6? Unit 5. I'll quickly reference and check. Okay? Scientific generalizations. The empirical ones, not the normative ones, can fail. You should consider them as predictions. That's the only thing that is different in Unit 6. Hey, Unit 5. Let me show you quickly. Okay. Apart from that, yeah, all the other ones, implicit and explicit, facts and values that you see there, are repetition from Units 1 and 2. So you don't have to stress yourself too much over that. Okay. The normative and the empirical. That is Unit 5 of your textbook, okay? Unit 5, the first page there, your page 108. You see the normative and the empirical. They are describing the different ways of thinking about law. And I said all the 6 senses of laws that you see there fall under normative law. The only one that is distinct there is natural laws. Which ones? And the natural laws, which type? The ones that are empirical in nature. Social science. Whenever prices of goods and services increase, quantity demanded what? Increases. There comes force. This is not a necessity. That is why you yourself, you qualify it by, say, ceteris paribus. Other factors held constant. Because I won't buy less of fuel, or I won't buy less of water. Now I'm going to drink a teaspoon of water because water has become expensive. It's a necessary good. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it's a prediction that, look, when you increase prices of goods, people will buy people will buy less. Social science, political science, sociology, social work, all those disciplines. Our methodology gathers from what we have observed in the past. So after asking the people and asking, our data analysis told us that we are in a comfortable lead, you and I. You remember that? Until we realize that we are out of the seat. Someone didn't do analysis well, because it is not a certainty in your number. Okay, so that is the different thing that you should add in your Unit 5. Laws, empirical laws. So when I say all planets orbit the sun, all planets move around the sun, I'm speaking scientific law, which is what? Empirical in nature. What we have observed so far, the planet we've observed so far, what have they done? They go around the sun. It doesn't mean tomorrow We may not find a planet that will decide that I'm not going around the sun. I came by my own. You can find some, and it has happened. All metals expand when heated. It's just gathering data, reporting what the facts have been in the world. So it's a general statement, yes, but it is a general statement only stating how things have been in the past. The meteorologists would say it will rain tomorrow. How are they able to say whenever it rains, the ground gets wet? Whenever the clouds gather at the northeastern side of Togo, it rains heavily in Ghana. This is a generalization. How did they arrive at that? Observation in the past. So they say, we have seen that the clouds have gathered at northeastern side of Togo. It is going to rain cats and dogs. So everybody starts running around, gathering it. And lo and behold, it could shine that day. Shine. Those of you will be waiting for the lecturer to not to come because the lecturer is afraid of rain. That day to shine. So you rather high. It can fail. That's the point. So empirical generalizations are not like the others, all the others there, the customary one, the mathematical one, the moral one, what have you that you should read. Logical laws, they require of you to obey because it's not a prediction. So if you try to deviate, you will be asked to conform. That's the difference there. Every other thing there, you know it. It's experience. Okay. So the 6 senses of the word law is there. The identifying types of discourses. We've done that. Narrative. What's the other one? Polemical rhetoric. What's the other one? Instruction. And then argument. We did that last week. The recording is still there for you. So we'll walk through it and then top it up with the few mopping up ambiguity and what have you. Look on your screen. Some problematic uses of what? Language. Sometimes when we use language, we are ambiguous, we are equivocal, we are vague. The only one that you don't know there is vague, ambiguous. So look on the screen. When a statement is made, you already have these slides. What I'm saying right now is already what is there. You pass the English before coming. We ensure, the University of Ghana ensure that you pass your English before you come. You can read what is there. So if you have read, my explanation is just helping you to put flesh to the skeleton. Not that I come and read for you to hear what is already there. That would not be the modus operandi. You see that. So when a statement is made, but that's one statement, the statement is one. I didn't repeat it. I made only one statement, but that one statement I have made can mean A, and it can also mean B. That same statement standing there can mean A, it can also mean B. Then we say, hey, my friend, that's ambiguous. Someone okay, it can mean this, but that same statement can also mean the other one, and the meanings are not the same. Then we say you are being ambiguous. Can you clarify? Now check and don't confuse that with equivocation. Equivocation is you are repeating a certain specific word over and over again in that your statement, in that your passage, and you're repeating some word. But whenever you repeat that word, you use a different meaning, a different connotation of that very word. So when we learn chair, for example, you use chair, which means the thing we sit on, the furniture we sit on. The next minute, you are using chair as the head of an institution. The next minute, you are using chair as the one who is running the affairs of a meeting. But whenever you repeat that word chair, you don't clarify the shift. You are just using the different meanings of that word. That would be equivocation, which we learned already. But as for ambiguity, you spoke once. Once have I spoken, twice have I heard. Once has God spoken, twice have I heard. So that is the difference. Ambiguity, there, you spoke once, but the meaning that what you have said comes with could be more than one. So we say you are being ambiguous. Sometimes it can even have 3 meanings. Okay. So ambi means two. Ambiguous means you are giving us more than one meaning, even though you spoke only once. If you got that, then you can see some examples that I gave you on the screen. Look at them. If I say, I have always wanted, these are ditto from your textbook. It's not some wonderful example I've taken. They're all from your book. They're all from your textbook. Those who are reading, ditto. I've always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking. And now I finally I have highlighted the ambiguous portion for you. Look at it. I have always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking. And now I finally have. I finally have done what? Have I finally applied for leave, or have I finally taken a course in critical thinking? I could apply for the leave and not take the course. 10 minutes to go. I could apply I could take the course. It could be that I have applied and also taken the course. So if I say, and now I finally have, and leave it at that. The question is, I finally have done what? You have to ask the person speaking to clarify that. You don't take it and go and say, oh, now my sister is doing critical thinking. Now, when people are graduating in critical thinking, and we ask you, where is your sister? You say, she told me she now has finally done it. I thought she had started. No, she said she had just taken the leave, but she's still considering whether to do critical thinking or nursing. Oh, you should have asked, because this statement is ambiguous. Okay. The next one is angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. It's obvious. Is it that the goat is holding the cutlass and injured the farmer, or or the farmer was holding the cutlass when the angry goat injured him? Clarify. Don't assume, because we watch Nigerian movies. Apologies, my Nigerian friends. The tree can be moving in the night and say, my children, I have come to save you. It happens. The goat may have the cutlass and hit. Look at the third one. Disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse. Is it that when you were disappearing into a hole, maybe the tunnel at a mall, when you were disappearing into that hole, then you saw a mouse, or you saw the mouse entering into that hole? You have to clarify, because when you speak this way, it can mean you yourself disappeared into a hole, and whilst you were doing that, you saw a mouse. Then free Turkey. I was hoping that it could be free Ukraine or free Russia. Okay, but this is free Turkey. It could be free Turkey, the nation Turkey, set the nation Turkey free from whatever, we don't know. It could be we have free Turkey for pigs. Christmas has come. I won a lot. So free Turkey available for everyone to take. It could be set that turkey that we have put in our whatever, hen coop, whatever for months, set it free, our bread. What do you mean? It's ambiguous. All right. Now I can move. These are examples. Some of them are shared from colleagues. So look at that. Students cook and serve grandparents. Over to you. I'm imagining where grandpa's ear will be on the food. Students cook and serve grandparents. The obvious meaning, we think, is that the student did the cooking and served, in other words, gave the food to the grandparent. But the other meaning that could be interpreted from this is that the student actually cut grandparents' tie, cut grandma's whatever, and put them together in their benkwine and prepared it. You see, students cook and serve grandparents. They serve grandparents. That could be the meaning. Okay, let's move to the next slide. These are all for you to enjoy. That's why I'm not wasting too much time on them. Look at the very funny one in the middle there. The one at the top, San Jose Cops one is like just like a farmer injures goat with cutlass, or goat injures farmer with cutlass. It's just like that. It's the use of wit that is creating the ambiguity. But the very interesting one is the one in front of the church. St. Martin's Episcopal Church. This is a real thing. Look at what they've written there. We love hurting people. Hey, we love hurting people. What are the two interpretations you can get from that? I wish we could engage a bit more, but I want to touch on substance. So let me just go ahead for you. We love hurting people. That we love to hurt people that come to our place. We love it. We have a degree in hurting them. When they come, their money, that we collect. If they have relationship, we destroy it. We love to make people feel sad. That can be, if you like, though unintended. It is there. A lawyer can reference this to sue the church. can reference say they have issued a disclaimer in front of their church that that's what they do there. People bring their monies and they exploit them. We love hurting people. You see, but we think that if it is a church, Episcopal church, then the intention is to say people who are hurt, their husbands have left them, they don't have fathers, they can't pay school fees, they are homeless, they are hurting. Such people, we love them. That is what they intend to say, we hope. But what they have said is ambiguous. The other one is straightforward. Slow children crossing. Is it that we should slow down and children are crossing, or the children that are crossing are slow? Tell us that. Now look at the one that more, I said all of these are shared from colleagues. Priest marries his own son. Is it that the priest to get taste? So we want to enjoy. The one in your textbook there, I haven't prayed this morning that deep to repeat it. Say, prostitute appeal to Pope. Hey, you put it for example, you don't fear God. Prostitutes appeal to Pope. That was meant to say that one, either the prostitute went before the Pope, and pleaded with them to maybe mitigate or intervene on their behalf or something, maybe something like that, appeal to the Pope to assist them with something. Or that the other one, which is unholy for the afternoon, that Pope to get taste. You see, if you don't write well, keep your thing mute. I don't want to hear any laughter in the brain. Prostitute appeal to Pope. If I ask you to tell me the source of ambiguity, the one that is creating the problem, is appeal to. How you are using appeal to? If your textbook gives you all the suggested answers at the back of the book, no, some of you don't even know. The suggested responses to help your study. Appeal to no is creating the problem. This one to priest marries his own son. Marries. How you are using the marries? Is it that he married his own son as he got married to the son? So he's the husband and the son is the wife, or that he gave his son away and he did the blessing of that marriage. Say that so that there is no ambiguity. We know equivocation, friends. We learned it together. I've also repeated it again. You are using the same word, but you are repeating and repeating and repeating. And anytime you use the word again, you use another connotation of that same word. Noisy children are a real headache. You have seen it already. 2 aspirin will make a headache go away. Therefore, 2 aspirin will make noisy children go away. Let him come in. Headache, in the first instance, we said it, is what? Noisy children worry. The second one, headache, is pain in the head. So it is the second one that you take a painkiller to clear. The person is using the words plenty, left, right. All these, we saw them when we looked at equivocation. Chair, bachelor as a degree, bachelor as a human being, bachelor as a button, bachelor as a flower. So which sense of the word are you using? We saw this also. Free country. Women should stop complaining because Ghana is a free country and they are equal with men. So they enjoy the same freedoms as men. And you see how we critique that. It's equivocation. Vagueness. It is imprecise. You are not being precise. In other words, as for ambiguity, you are clear. So it leads us to what? 2 interpretations, or even more sometimes. But vague, when you are vague, it means what you are saying is not determinate, it's not precise, it's not definite. That's why sometimes people think of it as it's too general to have any content. The provost said he will be here any moment from now. Do you understand any moment from now? Any moment from now includes 10 years to come. Any moment from now. So next second is any moment from now. But 10 years from now is also any moment from now. So if you are going to collect your passport at the passport office, and ask them, Madam, please, when should I come? And she says, any moment from now. And you think it is good news. You won't ask for precision or specificity. Come 10 years time and say, but you said I can come for it any moment from now. She said, yes, but it is still any moment from now. Yes, Jesus can come any moment from now. It can be today. It can be 10 years. It can be 100 years from now. It's not yours to interpret. Behold, I am coming soon. That is intentionally vague. The Papa God knows why he presented it that way. So the hypocrites, like you and I, will not get busy when we know that it's 2 minutes to his coming. and clear the house and look all nice. He wants to come when he wants to come. Any moment from now, I am coming soon. Soon is vague. This one is intentionally so. Okay? So I'm saying that when I say any graduate, look on the screen still, any graduate who is not getting a job is not looking hard enough. I always laugh at that one. Looking hard enough for a job. How do you look hard enough? If I tell you that people should look hard enough so that they can get a job, they are not looking hard enough. What does it mean to look hard enough? To go and stand by the advert and look at the thing until what? My eyes become red. What does it mean to look hard enough? Put content to it. It's vague. We can't specify what you mean when you speak this way. All right, so that's vagueness. Now, more examples. See, these are all from your textbook. All of them. Every example on the slides the slides were posted 3 weeks ago. All of them are there. So you've seen Yaya is a flower, is a metaphor. The Lord is my shepherd. You think it means that the Lord is holding a shepherd's stroke? Give me some 3 minutes or so. We'll finish. Well, then I take your questions. Okay. When you say the Lord is your shepherd, then you are a sheep. You are a sheep, Tom, but your skin is not white and you don't have wool around you, but you are a sheep. It is figurative, intended to be so. So when we use metaphors, they are intended. Listen, oh, friends, metaphorical statement, proverbial statement. This is part of your unit 3, those who are looking at the textbook. Proverbial statement, idiomatic expression, they are intentionally shrouded, hidden. That is their nature. So it doesn't commit, it is not a crime when you use language that way, because you don't want to speak directly to the oh, Kofi Annan has died when the death is fresh. It's too sharp. You may kill someone when you speak that way. So he has kicked the bucket. Oh, it is not. You are speaking to a woman now, my sister. The hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. That is heavy language, proverbial. The hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. Let the man crow. You can do all the groundswork. Maybe you are even taking care of the home and everything, but let the man crow. It means keep your mouth silent a little. Maybe that's what you are telling me. It's supposed to be a reprimand. At the same time, it could be an advice to the man. He's sitting there saying, the hen, Brian, the hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. Maumuso, lift yourself up. You are the man in the home. Take care of the home. Otherwise, the woman will be stressed because the hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. You see that? So the first instance, you may be rebuking her. The second instance, you may be using the same thing as an advice for the guy. And so if an elderly grandpa sits to settle dispute, he will intentionally and properly so use what? A shrouded language, metaphor, idiom. In that instance, he's not creating any error because they are intentionally meant to be what? Bracketed. So you will see one of your sessions in Unit 3 telling you bracketing metaphorical statements. Bracketing means especially who has unmuted their microphone. You want to do the lecturing so that I stop. We have 3 slides to go. You don't know the next one coming. All right. Okay. Bracket it means treat it what specially. So when I say Yaya is a flower, maybe I'm trying to communicate she's weak. I said all that already. So handle her well. This is my daughter dear. She's a flower. She's beautiful. She's weak. She's fragile. Okay. If I say Manta is a pig, it could be she's eating too much now. She's put on. She snores. She's dirty. These are all hidden in one statement. The Lord is my shepherd. They didn't say the Lord is my whatever. Sheep. Sheep are not a goat. Take note. So your behavior cannot be that of a goat. It's symbolic language. No man is an island. They are all intentionally vague and what? Open-ended. That's what you see on the screen. Purposefully so. However, if you use language outside of this bracketed frame, and where we intentionally use language that way that I highlighted, figure of speech, idiomatic expression, proverb, metaphor. Here, that is how they have to be so that the intended purpose for it will be achieved. Advice, reprimand, what have you. You can't go and talk about someone's husband or talk to someone's husband in an embarrassing way. They will leave your place and the woman will go and complain to the man. She went to complain, but she will say, oh, but the man, to the way he settled that thing, I don't like it. I think he disrespected you. But she went to say it. So when you are going to speak, even as a mediator, you want to speak in a way that by the time you finish, folks will still go home and live peacefully. So those ones are important when you speak in a shrouded way. However, when you speak outside of metaphors, idioms, what have you, and you are vague, we have a problem. Those were the ones that I mentioned earlier. Any moment from now, look hard enough, soon, and some such. Okay, there's an example in the textbook that I know most of you will enjoy. It says, what was it book? Any man who is not forcefully sleeping with a woman is not man enough. It's not man enough. If you don't forcefully sleep with a certain girl, then you are not man enough. What does it mean to be man enough? Okay. Now, this one's, look at what you see now. That's what we did the last time. Verbal dispute. She's a nurse. No, she's a health worker. I said she's a nurse. You say no, meaning you are disagreeing with me. I want to hear a contrasting view. You say no, she's a health worker. Are we really disagreeing? It's a dispute about language. If I told you that Uber nurses are health workers, you say, I didn't hear you. Stipulative definition. We have resolved it. Okay? However, the other one, we saw that also last week. She is a nurse because she has a certificate from the training school. And you say, no, she's not a real nurse because she doesn't take care of her patients. That's substantive disagreement. I said discuss at tutorial. We have even done some discussion at tutorial already from the textbook. When you go to tutorial, ask Mrs. She will take you through a few of them more. This one that, look at what is on the screen now. That man is fancy. This is all from your textbook. What I went through with you right now is what is repeated there. That man is not a real Christian because she does not speak in tongues. This one says, no, she's really a Christian because she was baptized. This is substantive. We may never resolve it. But look at the one. That man is fancy. The other person says, no, he's not. He's Akan. Fancy, Akan. Fancy, Akan. Are we disagreeing? Fancies are also Akans. Okay. Case die. So fancies are Akans. Yes. It is a mango. No, it is not a mango. It is a fruit. Mango, fruit. Mango, fruit. They are going to be themselves. You come and say, oh, but mangoes are also fruit. Or you are not saying anything different. One is just mentioning a specific example of fruit. So we are not disagreeing. Oh, okay. Case die. So it was just what? Verbal, brothers and sisters in the Lord. Then the laws I mentioned earlier. You see them there. They are all the ones you see there in your textbook. Customary laws, civil law, criminal law, all the laws, logical laws, divine codes, moral codes, they are all prescriptive. It is still coming from where? Value judgment. You see what value judgment has done? Value judgment took us to open textured terms. Then from there, brought us to substantive disagreement. And here we are, talking about normative laws. They prescribe. So if it's a prescription, if the doctor gives you a prescription, maybe that will help some of you. How things should be done. They say take it 2-3 times. You say, oh, me, I think I don't have time, so let me take all the 6 now. Yeah. Then tomorrow I take another. Then you become obituary. It requires of you to obey. So normative laws do not allow for exceptions. If you disagree or disobey, you will be forced to conform. I told you the sister will use her eyebrows to tell her that swimming suit is not taken to lecture hall. Her eyebrows. And the way we chuckle at her, she will change. It's a customary law. Some are norms, some are social statutes. Then there's the criminal one. You can't go and make statements about coup. Who put you inside the box there and this if you are lucky. Or yes, to show you that you shouldn't say that. Okay, so all those ones are normative. How about if you break an empirical law. Like every pregnancy lasts for 9 months because in the past we have observed that. Then your pregnancy, 7 months, the baby says he wants to come out. Will you tell the baby to remain in the tummy? Because if it comes, it is breaking the law of biology. Then you will die. You will give birth to the baby, fine, change your law. That's why you can give birth before 9 months. And it has happened. So if you found a metal that will not expand when heated, we'll say, oh, not knowing, not all metals expand when heated. Because the kind of law you are dealing with there wasn't a normative one, it was an empirical one. So if you observe something contrary to what you have observed in the past, based on which you've drawn a law, if you see a counterfactual, an opposite observation, you will change your law because that law was empirical. Okay, so the new discovery will make you change what you thought you knew as a regularity. You don't change your mathematical rules when your child writes 2 + 3 = 17. Then you say, oh, because it's my child. Now 2 + 3 = 17. You don't do that. So that is going on.
More time this anniversary.
Hey, Masa, we are Bema pa, yeah, physical. Which is no man why the day in pocket. Let me finish. I'm done. All right. So the last slide there, and then I can go and rest. Then you engage it very well in preparation for your interim assessment. Take note that your interim assessment will be done on site, in person. That goes for all groups, in person, on site. You will come and use the university's computers. It will cover units 1 all the way to 7. Yes, so 1, 2, 3, no unit 4 for unit 1. Then 5, 6, and unit 7. All of them for your 30 marks. So when you learn, then you learn strategically, okay? These ones we have seen, look at them. But all the laws, I've mentioned them again. And then look at this. Law-like and whatever. Law-like, the ones I've just given, metal expands when heated. They are factual generalizations. They are describing the regularities you've observed. Whereas the one that is prescribing is still what? Normative. Okay? All right. And then that is end of lecture 3. Any questions? Obviously, you are always able to leave because I won't even see. When I came, we were close to 400, just about 2 or 3 to 400. I currently see a little over 300. So you can leave. I will give